In Bioshock Infinite, you play as Booker DeWitt, who after getting into debt because of his excessive gambling, is sent to the Sky City of Columbia to retrieve a girl named Elizabeth in order to wipe away his debt.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. That was the deal. The details elude me now. But the details wouldn't change a goddamn thing.
The original Bioshock was by far one of my favorite games of the early Xbox 360 era. It was original, intuitive, and thought-provoking. Bioshock Infinite holds firm on all those fronts and leaves nothing off the table. The gameplay is excellent, the story is engrossing, and though its attempts to stay non-repetitive, if that's even a word, are futile at times, Bioshock Infinite is still a game worth looking into. First, we'll analyze the gameplay. The shooting controls are smooth, spot-on, and don't require much skill to master, at least on the PC. The Vigors, Bioshock Infinite's equivalent to plasmids, are a nice mechanic, though they don't bring anything new or interesting to the table, and do require a bit more accuracy than one might prefer. They almost just seem there for some diverse gameplay, and they're nothing we haven't seen before, at least for those of us who play games with mechanics like this, such as Dishonored or any game with spells. They also give no incentive to diversify the use of your abilities. I've heard from a lot of gamers, including myself, that you tend to find a select few abilities you enjoy the most and stick with those throughout the game. I have no doubt that the recreational gamer that only plays games maybe once every now and again could pick up this game and play it as expertly as a hardcore gamer. It is also refreshing to know that enemies aren't so accurate that they could shoot through small slivers that you are poking your head out of for a good shot, but aren't so clumsy that you could Call of Duty style it. The movements in this game are organic, fluid, and by no means take you out of the experience, making you fully capable of being entranced and really feel like you are part of this world. The stealth aspect of the gameplay was excellently handled and really enjoyable, but was near non-existent throughout the game. Though you do explore areas you had already come from, it really hammers into your brain that this is a very aware game. It doesn't want you to forget that you are part of this world and simply move on and forget about the areas you smoked through. Not because it is insecure or the developers are lazy, but because that's just proper Bioshock style. This aspect is rather admirable and adds to the gameplay because you sometimes find yourself fighting from different angles of an area you hadn't previously fought from, which adds tons of nostalgic value. Now let's ponder the AI. The AI in this game is comparable to only one other game I can think of, Bioshock. There really is no other way to explain it. By this I mean that they are smart. They are adaptive, simple, and not too overwhelming. But that doesn't mean that the game isn't fast-paced. The game is very fast-paced, but still requires a fair amount of patience. Sometimes they will wait for a shot, and other times they will rush you if they know they have the advantage. With that said, the different types of AI don't seem to work together too well. They have little to no interaction whatsoever, and it would have been interesting to see the AI have some sort of formations that would rival the one-man army that is Booker DeWitt, like possibly the Patriot tanking while the weaker AI shot from a distance, or try to funnel the player into a hallway, or something of that nature. How about we speak about the visuals now, shall we? This game looks incredible. There really is no other way of putting it. The environments are vibrant, the detail is fantastic, and the level design is brilliantly diverse. Though it is quite a dramatic turn for Bioshock to come from a city deep under the sea to a sprawling city in the sky, and Columbia lacks that sense of dread and loneliness that the original Bioshock brought with it, the city still feels very much like Bioshock. Not for a second did I think I was playing a game within a separate franchise. Irrational Games did an excellent job, with making sure this game still had that Bioshock trademark tone. With that said, it does take quite a system in order to run this, at least on PC. I was previously running on a Radeon HD 7850, a fairly medium build card that can run most everything current gen on high, and I became incredibly overwhelmed with this game, even with everything on low, the resolution bumped down, and the frame limit to 30 FPS. After I upgraded to a GTX 660, however, this game ran like a charm, 1920 by 1080, 60 FPS, and everything on high. I'll have a review of both cards later, but the point is that this game takes a lot to run, and even my GTX 660 gets up to 60 degrees Celsius with the fan speed running at 56% capacity. It is unfortunate that there is a very low setting in order for weaker builds to run this game, because this game is by far one of the best games I've had the pleasure of playing. On that note, let's get into the story. Consider this the spoiler section. If you haven't played Bioshock Infinite and wish to enjoy your ignorance of the plot and its overarching themes, please stop watching. It truly is an incredible story, and I would hate for it to be ruined for you. Quantum mechanics and pretty much anything having to do with alternate dimensions or even time travel has fascinated me since I was a measly little middle schooler. From Back to the Future to studying the infinite lol possibilities that laid within the science of alternate dimensions. Once I saw Elizabeth open her first tear, I knew immediately what this game was about and what it was foreshadowing to. Now, I didn't think Irrational Games would go as far or as cleverly as they did, but I was still expecting it to be a bit predictable. Boy, was I wrong. This game opens you up to the question, does anything you do even matter? In some other dimension, some other version of yourself has already fulfilled your dreams and became everything you wanted to be, while at the same time another version of yourself got killed as a child or became a homeless person. They might not even exist at all within a different dimension. Though it was disappointing that they did not explore the dimensions where Earth or the Sun had not even formed, or creatures outside the reach of our imagination roamed and dominated the Earth, I do admire that Irrational stuck to things rather simply in order not to confuse the player. Once you enter your first tear, entering an entirely different reality, you really do get a sense that what you had done previously was done entirely in vain, which begged the question, will anything I do from this point matter? However, Irrational did stick to the primary story for the most part, though I did expect the story to derail and end up completely lost from where it once was. People once allies become enemies, people thought evil become important acquaintances, and your adversaries could very well be you in another dimension. The conclusion to this game was beyond epic. It wrapped up seemingly insignificant decisions and questions into extraordinary overarching plot points that were the answers all along, such as the choice between the bird and cage pendant, throwing the baseball at the man at the beginning of the game, and the question as to what happened to Elizabeth's pinky. It all turns out that you are Booker DeWitt trying to save Elizabeth, who is protected by Zachary Comstock, who is Booker DeWitt trying to stop Booker DeWitt from finding Anna, who turns out to be his daughter, Elizabeth, who is stolen from him by Zachary Comstock. At least that is one interpretation of it within this dimension. However, there are an infinite amount of scenarios that could be imagined, with the open-ended conclusion that is the one to Bioshock Infinite. Leave your comments below and what you thought about Bioshock Infinite, of course without spoiling anything, and if you do, be sure to tag spoiler at the beginning of the comment, much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed my first video, and be sure to rate and subscribe, and I thank you for watching.
Here!
Great. Do it now.
There you go!
Open it.
On